All right, all right. Welcome in. Sorry, was just clearing the system. Got the what do we call it? Allergies happening. I'm even wearing a sweater because now I'm getting the chills. This is garbage. I'm telling you, I don't feel great. But you know, it makes me feel a lot better knowing that I get to come here each and every day and do the rant for you. I'm Pugs Moran. This is the rant. We do it live every day from the beautiful Kelly Moore Memorial Studios here in the E Gallery in Dallas's Design District. Been doing it for 3 years. Here's what it is. It's a stream of consciousness performed by me about the day. We cover everything that you need to know about this day, this particular day, the 17th day of September. We do the show in 4 quarters. Now, the reason for the quartering system is because it's a rant, it's a stream of consciousness, and if we don't have some kind of guardrails, we will just go into the ditch. And we do occasionally go into the ditch, but we get out. First quarter, we call it antecedently on this day. It's this day in history. I run through a couple of cherry-picked items from the past, things that occurred on this day, and we go, that's weird. Quarter two is birthdays. Birthdays are people born on this day, notable people, celebrities, if you will. We decide, are they cool or do they suck? That's the fun of that. Quarter three is deads. These are people who died on this day. Same thing as birthdays, kinda, except the opposite. And in this case, what we do is we look at these people, we look at their careers, and we decide, did they go to heaven or did they go to hell? Heaven or hell is quarter three. That leads us to quarter four, which is everything that's happening today. That's the real news rant. That's the stuff, the big news, the Diddy, the exploding pagers, porn stars that are in vegetative states now. All the big important things that we want to talk about today. You know what we don't have? Bullshit politics. This show for 3 years has pledged itself to be a talk show for normal people. Why? Because I don't think AM talk radio gives you normal people talk. I think it gives you people who just want to hear a certain kind of thing, whether that be sports or one particular political ideology. That's it. That's all there is. So this show is for normal people. This is the way talk radio used to be, where everybody was welcome. And you know what? Sometimes you're wrong, and sometimes I'm wrong. In fact, oftentimes I'm wrong. But at least I'm normal about it. I can grow. I can grow. You mean flip flop? No, I mean grow. I mean change. I mean evolve. As you get older and as you see things differently, you may feel differently about certain things. This is a show for people who accept that and embrace that and understand that we are all evolving people. I'm not going to pledge my life to some stupid color. How are you? As I say, 4 quarters is how the show plays out. But this is typically known as small talk. Hi. Oh, you might notice small talk. We got a little bit different set for you here in the beautiful Kelly Moore Studios. Using a TV. We've got whole bunches of TV. We are lousy with TVs in these studios, and I can only get one to work. That one. So here we are. I hope you're not distracted. I was looking for some sort of news. This is a news commentary show, so I am allowed to, in some way, utilize other news sources because, honestly, we don't make any money. This show makes no money. More on that in a second. So I think technically I'm allowed to use the ABC News Live 24/7 stream because now we're going to comment on the news. Trump to ABC. Secret Service did a good job in apparent assassination attempt. Yeah, of course they did. Yeah, they did. What did I tell you yesterday? Everything's a little too convenient about this one. Everything's a little too convenient about this assassination attempt. I mean, for the past couple of months since Butler, Pennsylvania, we've been hearing about, the Secret Service and the local cops. They weren't on the same page. They didn't talk to each other. The Secret Service is inept. They can't do their job. They can't even protect. I mean, that's all we heard for all of these past few weeks since Butler. And now on Sunday, it's like everything went in the right way. Look at the Secret Service. Look how good they are now. I mean, by my estimation. And what is my estimation? Completely a rookie. I don't know what I'm talking about on this subject. I don't know what it is that Secret Service agents who are advanced canvassing an area are looking for. I don't know. I'm no expert on it. But I got an opinion, and my opinion is this. If I'm being told that the Secret Service was working 2 holes ahead of where President Trump was on the course, if I'm told they were working Secret Service, it would be really hard to see the butt of one gun poking through a bush. And not a bush. It's not a bush. It's like a miles. The entire golf course is lined by these bushes, these thick shrubbery. I know I walk by a version of it every day. I walk when I'm walking CeeLo the Beast Hound. I walk right by Highland Park Country Club or Dallas Country, whatever that is right there. Right there. It's at the end of the block. Big giant bushes. And last night I'm like, Jesus, man, you can just stick a gun. I don't believe it would be very easy for a Secret Service agent to see a gun sticking through the bush with all of the twigs and all of it. I mean, we're talking about a wall. Golf courses are big. The bush and the shrubberies that seclude them from the street below or next door, those bushes are big too. So I just think it's pretty convenient. And then it was like, and we instantly relayed it to local police, who put out an APB and caught them like 2 blocks away. Look at us, the Secret Service, the much maligned Secret Service, working hand in hand with local authorities. And isn't the world loved? I don't know. It just seems a little too. I talked about that yesterday. You can find all the past shows by going to, where do you go? Where do you go? I don't know. You people should know. I don't know. How can they know if I don't know? Go to like Pugs and Company on YouTube. Try that. You can find all the past shows. We got a situation in our neighborhood, more small talk. We got a situation in our neighborhood. It's a Halloween season, and people are Halloween decorating. And I don't even know if I want to talk about this. I'm going to talk about it. You guys know E? You guys know E, my guy? he's the best. E Gallery is one of Dallas's foremost and cutting edge and most influential artists in town here, and he's one. I'm gonna say all this stuff first. He's one of the kindest and best dudes. He is my brother, and I love him. Okay, there you go. But he put up a Halloween decoration that I am telling you, man. I ain't saying nothing. But I do think it's time that I sign up for that. What's that, nextdoor.com or whatever, just to see what the neighbors are saying. So I'll give you an idea. So in his neighborhood, I saw on the block, there's a couple of very big, it's a very nice neighborhood. It's a beautiful neighborhood, beautiful homes. All the people have money. So it's not like funky plastic ornaments in the yard, right? It's these big elaborate things. And I think there might be a bit of a competition. But let me just state first and foremost, if that is the case, competition is over. It is over. Stop it. So anyway, around his neighborhood, I observed some very nice, like big blow-up things, some minions. There were some minions dressed as like spooky goblins, but it's minions. And then another one has this big, giant, white, inflatable ghost. And it's kind of more of a Casper variety ghost than anything else. I pull up to E's house on the same block. Remember, this is what the other neighbors are going for. I pull up to E's house. He has a 20-foot tall, electronic, speaking Grim Reaper dangling a dead baby. It's the most. Hold on. I'll show it to you. Oh, you think I don't have pictures? Hold on. Let me see. Can I show this? Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. That's a good one. Hold on, I want to make sure there's no. Yeah, okay. I don't want to give up his house. In these times where abortion is such a hot button issue, especially here in Texas, he has the most over-the-top, grotesque, horrifying. Like I said, the other people, they got minions. They got blown-up minions dressed as spooky goblins. It's not exactly the same energy. God love it. I don't know. I mean, is that too much? I don't think it is. Here's what I think. I think it's badass. I think that there are many different interpretations of what Halloween is. I think for the wee lads, for the little ones, maybe we ought to keep it to just the spooky minion goblins and stuff like that. But as we get older, are we expected to give up on Halloween? No. And as we get older, our version of Halloween changes. And it goes from, minions dressed as spooky goblins to a 20-foot tall, fully animated Grim Reaper dangling a baby. I'm thinking it just killed. It just killed that baby. That's a baby. Man, oh man. How'd you like to be the guy down the block who's got the minions? Like, is that guy like, I thought my shit was pretty badass, but I gotta admit, that fucking guy down there, he ain't afraid of nothing. Who lives there? Clive Barker? It's crazy. And then I did a quick look around, and apparently those things are pretty common, and there's a few other here in the neighborhood. You can check it out. So anyway, these big elaborate, I didn't know that Halloween, I knew Christmas competitions were a big deal, but I didn't know that Halloween was. All right, I'm all for it. Why not? Byron, let's say hi to the chat room, everybody. Hi, chat room. Come one, come all. Make this a daily hang. Byron says, changes into a mid-September holiday. What changes? Halloween is 45 days away. Hey, look, you people, what did I tell you? Stop complaining, okay? Do not be the people who are like, it's too early for pumpkin spice. Don't be the person like I saw on Facebook or something. It's always Facebook. Let's just always say it's Facebook. Who was complaining. They're like, I went to Target to buy something and I found a Halloween candy under a Christmas tree. Oh, will they stop rushing the season? Oh, shut up. Nobody cares. Nobody really is angry that Christmas is coming. Come on. Christmas is awesome. And you know what? The economy could use a little boost. So would y'all just get on board and let's extend the Christmas season by a couple of weeks because quite frankly, America could use it. And I just reject the whole thing. I reject the whole notion that there are people out there who are like, fucking Christmas, man. You know what? If I got to see one more incredibly joyful and family-oriented piece of garbage, I'm just going to puke. Who are these? That's not a real thing. But again, we're all programmed to be like, it's too early for Christmas. No, shut up. Just go with it, okay? They know what they're doing. The shopping, the stores know what they're doing. Come on, Target knows what they're doing. Just go with it. Target and Walmart, obviously. All right, so I'm not going to complain about that. Hi, April. My girl April is in there. Sports bras are here. Oh, my God. What's happening? Is it working now? Is it working? What happened? I saw, hey, Ed, what'd you do? He jumped it, or what did I do? I'd like to know. Was the whole show missed? Because did you get the description of did you see? Oh, man, I don't know. It's back. Like, how long was it bad? Oh, no, I got to go back. Well, maybe we can watch it on the TV. That's another thing we can do. We can, watch things on the TV now, which, is different. All right, anyway, now I'm very distracted. I saw Ed poking around, but I always know that Ed has our best interests at heart. By the way, man, here's more for the small talk, okay? We'll keep going with small talk. As long as it's working now, we're good. I don't think there was anything necessarily gold in the first 10 minutes. Sounds like poo. Ugh. That makes me feel so bad. We could hear you all along. Oh, okay. Thank you, Byron. That's what I was looking for. It just sounded bad. All right. What else? Oh, yeah. This I wanted to talk about. I wanted to mention because it happened. It's been happening over the last couple of days. And I didn't know if I wanted to make it public, but I'm making it public because I'm very excited about something. And that is a new project that Radio Misfits Ed and I are working on. It's actually Ed's idea. And, when you hear an idea, I'm telling you, part of being in a good ensemble, which Radio Misfits is. Part of being in a good ensemble is, first of all, trusting that the people that you're ensembling with have great ideas, and that's why you're ensembling with them. But also, when somebody has a good idea, don't be afraid to go all in. If you really believe it, don't let your ego be like, that wasn't my idea, so I'm not going to support it. Ed came up with an amazing idea, and I was like, you know what? I would like to do that. You know, I always talk about I got nothing to watch. I'm a TV freak. I like to dedicate at least 2 hours at the end of my day to watching TV. Typically, it's, you know, a drama series or something. I like good TV is my point. And I feel like there's nothing for me anymore. So I go back and I've got like 15 shows that for the past couple of years, I've just been watching and rewatching and rewatching just because at least I know I'm going to like it. And what's cool is I forget a lot of stuff. You forget a lot of stuff when a show runs for 7 seasons for like 13 episodes per season. Anyway, so I've been re-binging Sons of Anarchy, and I got like into season 3. I got to take a break, guys. I don't know if this is going to be a break like the one I took while rewatching The Americans. I took a break in like season 3 of rewatching The Americans, and that was like 3 years ago. And I need to go back, but unfortunately, I think now I got to start from the beginning again. So. But I took a break over the weekend from Sons of Anarchy. It was just too much. Just too much. I love that show. That show is so funny. It's just too much. So Ed told me that I can watch Soap. Do you remember the old TV show Soap? Remember Soap? Which I guess, and how did this come up? I guess it came up because Soap was just the other day, like on Sunday maybe, it was like the 40th anniversary of Soap debuting on ABC TV. Soap is one of the most important television shows in the history of my life. And Ed's like, you know, you can rewatch that series. And I'm like, okay. So I started rewatching it. And I'm now addicted to rewatching episodes of Soap. They're so easy because of the way commercials were in the 1970s. An episode of Soap is only like 20 minutes. It's like boom, boom, boom. And without commercials, because you're re-binging it on a service, without commercials, it's just boom, boom, boom. And before you know it, you're ripping through 2.5 hours of Soap. Soap was insane. So Ed had an idea that we ought to work on a project that is based around the television series Soap. And I said, yes, please. And so I'm very excited about that. Byron says Soap was great. I watched reruns as a kid. Peter says Soap was the greatest. Mary Hartman, yes. Mama B, you keep that one under your hat because that's the follow-up that I haven't yet. Yes. Mary Hartman is also something that I think deserves the Radio Misfits podcast treatment. And I'm happy to be working on a Soap project with Ed. I'm like 4 episodes, man, or actually more than 4. I did. Anyway, God, that show is great. Here, let me give you a couple of my observations. If you're unfamiliar with what Soap was a show from 1977 on ABC. It only ran for about 4 seasons. It is widely admired as one of the most groundbreaking in whatever situation comedies of all time. Situation comedies were really dumb. They were really basic back then. And Soap came in and just did something that was week in and week out controversial, always provocative, touched on a style of humor that was more George Carlin than maybe Mel Brooks or, you know, Sid Caesar, which is what, you know, television comedy had always been. It was edgy. It was rough. It taught me more than I can't wait to do this project because I want to talk about this, and I'll just mention it now. It taught me about gay people. I had no idea. I was 8 years old when that show started. My understanding of homosexuality comes entirely from one of the most groundbreaking situation comedies of all time, Soap. It is so good. If you guys have an opportunity to rewatch it, I don't know if you have access to platforms. I know it's on Amazon and all that, but if you have an opportunity and you remember it just vaguely as a kid, watch it in 2024. Your mind is going to be absolutely blown at the subject matter that they were doing. Not only the subject matter, but how responsibly smartly and insurgently. They were discussing these topics that civilized American society of the time would never touch. It was brilliant. It was just brilliant. There's also a whole bunch of shit that I bet they'd like to have back. There were some cringe through the 2024 lens. I can tell you that already by episode 4, there have been some very cringe moments where I'm like, yeah, Billy Crystal should probably apologize for that. He's going to want that one back. Anyway, that's a fun little project that we're working on. So we hope to have that available to you soon. And I hope people who don't know what soap is, I hope they will listen to the podcast just because they want to hear me talk about all kinds of funny situations from the show that are real life situations that people deal with. I think it has an opportunity to be a real interesting discussion show. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Mr. Popular, hold on. Oh, gotcha. My buddy. All right. Should we just get started with the show? No, we got to do this first. That's right. Every day we run this show on tips, gratuities, whatever it is. Drop a little something in the Venmo or the Cash App. You greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's how this show has been going on for 3 years now. It is, depending on how you look at it, I suppose, the way you've enabled me or the way you've... Hold on, I'm sorry. Never mind. Excuse me. So I want to thank every day. We ask that the people tip, and the big tipper gets to be the executive producer of the show. We have one from yesterday. Where is it? Oh, there it is. No stranger to this business. Leslie C. was the big tipper of yesterday's show. Thank you so much, Leslie. Appreciate you. Leslie is one of those 15 that we count on every month, and thankfully they come through. Haven't said anything too offensive to their sensibilities. If you would like to participate and be a big show tipper or executive producer, there you go. You just drop it there. It's that easy. We'll leave that up at some point. Hi, Christina. I keep booting myself out of the chat room. What's happening? What's happening, Christina? What's happening, old Nina from back in the day? Oh, hold on. Sorry. Very important texts coming in, which are actually not important at all. All right, and less important phone calls. That phone call was not important. That person's not even going to get a call back, if I'm being honest. I'm just going to let that thing go right through the voicemail. What is the date? 17? Is that it? All right, let's get started. I feel like we need to reset here. Hold on. Let me get a drink. Code mix. So good it should be illegal. Probably is. I mean, remember I told you I couldn't find it anymore? Like I found it at 7-Eleven, and then when it was gone, it was gone. Well, now the only place I can find it is this sketchy little convenience store here in the design district that is, kind of near the jail. So it's, it's sketchy. I imagine there's a lot of sketchy products in there, but whatever. Code mix, man. This shit is good. If you don't care, if you live life on the edge, you got a death wish. No, seriously, it's very good. I know I make fun of it, but that's because they're not paying me or anything, but it is good. And it's delicious. It tastes like Red Bull back in the day. I am low key making a string of some of the best commercials for them. Don't you think? You guys ought to start writing letters. You guys ought to do it. You guys ought to contact Code Mix. And you ought to be like, hey, see, these are the things that producers think of that I just think of here on the fly. But that's a great idea. You guys should all contact Code Mix wherever they are and say, hey, why is this dude ranting about your product? Just do that. Yeah. Code Mix. We'll get them to pay something. It's good. It's really good. All right, let's get started. It is The Rant. I am Pugs Moran. We are here in the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the E-Gallery in the beautiful Dallas's Design District. Call ourselves Radio Misfits Dallas, but really we all bow down to the overlord that is RadioMisfits.com. Hi, folks. It's the 17th day of September, year of our Lord, Did you catch me? Did you catch me? I just had to glance down at the year. If any of you think I'm part space alien, as I kind of do, I think I might be. Wouldn't that be exactly the kind of thing a space alien would do? All right. 2024. That's the year. It's September 17th, 2024. My God. Spending all this time in the weeds on the date. 261 days have already passed in this year, and that means there's 105 more until New Year's Eve. Not another code mix dig because it is very tasty, but I seem to burp a lot when I drink it. And I wonder if that's like my body going, no, get out, no. I'm going to get more and more brutal until they start paying me. But I'll keep drinking it because it's good. Code mix. It ain't for pussies. Let's see here. Let's do antecedently on this day. These are all the events that have helped shape our understanding of this day. Some might call it this day in history, others previously on, but I call it antecedently on this day. Antecedently on this day in the year 1787. Look at this. The United States Constitution is signed at Independence Hall in Philadelphia. Doesn't that seem like that should be a much bigger deal? I mean, we know when the hold on. We know when the Declaration of Independence was signed. That's July 4th. That's like honestly, if we're being truthful, if you're really a patriot, that's the biggest day of the year. That's our big day. Don't give me Christmas. I love Christmas too. But if you're a patriot, if you're truly America first, then that's the biggest day of the year. And that's the day we just said, hey, we're going to try something. We're going to try and fight our way to freedom. But the signing of the Constitution is the actual day. It's like, fuck yeah, we're doing this. Today should be a bigger deal. It's inconvenient. I bet you that's it. It's inconvenient because it's in the middle of September. July 4th, it's summer. People are on vacation anyway. That's what it is. See, that's the construct. It ain't real. It's just the construct that we've all accepted. On this day, antecedently in the year 1859, this fucking guy. Oh, you guys don't. Did you guys know who this guy is? Okay, so I tell you, man, how I love going through this day in history stuff, doing this research every morning for the show where I pull up all these different this day in history sites, and Wikipedia is a great one too. But I tell you, there are so many stories that I don't think we know about that like would make great movies, that would make great TV shows, great Netflix series, whatever. Stories about real people. I mean, it feels like we've run through all the shit, that we know about, the Daniel Boones and stuff like that. Characters, Billy the Kids, whatever, you know what I'm saying? P.T. Barnum. We know all that stuff. There are other people who just didn't stand the test of time, but were talked about in their day. Here is one. You tell me that you wouldn't watch this series. It was on this day in 1859 that Joshua Norton declared himself Norton the First, Emperor of the United States. Do you guys know the story of Norton the First? On this day in 1859, declared himself Emperor of the United States. He's a real dude. And apparently, okay, so here's his story. So Emperor Norton was like the richest man in California. He was super rich. And then he lost it all in some like rice scheme. Like he tried to corner the global rice market and he lost it all. But still, because of who he used to be, all of his friends were like the most important people in California. Now, losing all of his money kind of made him a little nuts. He went a little insane. And he still owned a whole lot of land, and he still had enough money to like keep up general appearances, all that kind of stuff. But he wasn't nearly the most powerful man in California the way he was at one point. And he declared himself emperor. He just said, you know what? I'm in charge now. Everybody listen to me. And because all of his friends from when he was, this really wealthy and influential guy, all of his friends just went along with it. And all of like San Francisco and now the rest of the country, he became like a star of like newspapers in New York because they would write about him and all this shit. But this dude was allowed to exist in a universe completely fabricated by the people of San Francisco of the time. He was allowed to exist in a universe where he believed he was the emperor of the United States. The newspaper played a role. The San Francisco newspapers would print headline, Emperor declares, so that he could read it the next morning. He's the coolest. It's the coolest and craziest story. And all of his friends went along with it. Are you telling me that wouldn't make it great? I mean, I know The Gilded Age is really popular on HBO, but wouldn't this make a terrific comedy? This would be a great comedy. Just the story of Emperor Norton. Here, actually, let me read you some of the details so you don't think I'm making this nonsense up. It's a real guy. I'll show you some pictures, too. Here, do we have any pictures? Yeah. Oh, great, man. Okay, cool. You want to see pictures? Here you go. All right. Emperor Norton. There you go. Joshua A. Norton. Here he is. Yeah. All right. So this guy, he just declared himself emperor, and everyone in San Francisco went along with the bit for years. Oh, and then like 6 years after declaring himself emperor, he declared himself like protector of Mexico. So he was also in charge of Mexico. This is how he walked the streets, and people got out of his way, and people addressed him as, emperor and all this stuff. There he is again. He took a number of pictures in his peacock hat. That was a big peacock feather in the hat. There he is again, sitting there, and I guess that's him in more normal times when he was like a really important guy. The emperor in his carriage on the streets of San Francisco. There any other good pictures of him? I guess that's it. There you go. The Emperor of America. How great of a story is that? And why hasn't Hollywood made that story? Isn't that a great vehicle for somebody? I could see like that being a Danny McBride vehicle. Let Danny McBride play this guy who lost his mind, declared himself emperor, and then just by happenstance, everybody in his personal universe and on the streets played along with it, including the newspapers, including famous people, because he was already it's just such a great story. On this day, 1859, Joshua A. Norton declares himself Norton the First, Emperor of the United States. Let's see. It was on this day in 1920, right? Hold on. I lost my place. We do this sometimes. Always losing my place. Here we go. Okay. On this day, antecedently, in the year 1920, the National Football League is organized as an American Professional Football Association in Canton, Ohio. That's right. They met in a car dealership in Canton, Ohio. The owner of the Canton Bulldogs were an early power team. They decided that there were a whole bunch of people playing football. Okay, there were football teams all over the place, and the Canton Bulldogs and the Racine Riders, I believe they were called, the Chicago Bears, who I guess at this point were still the Decatur Staleys, which is a factory town outside Chicago. They were all playing, but they thought they were at a different level than these other little teams, and there was no organized league. It was just, hey, we play football. Who wants to play us? So in order to make it more competitive, they all got together. The guys who were in charge of like good teams that were like serious teams. They all met in a car dealership in Canton, Ohio, and they signed the first NFL charter. They had in attendance that day were, of course, the Canton Bulldogs, Chicago Cardinals, Decatur Staleys, some Racine team. I don't know what I always hear about that. Some Quad Cities team, maybe. Anyway, none of these teams are still around except the Chicago Bears and the Arizona Cardinals on this day in 1920. That's why those two teams, and I always tell the story as to why the Arizona Cardinals lay claim to being the oldest team, the original franchise. We're the Cardinals. We're the original franchise. And then it's like the Chicago Bears are like, yeah, we're the second. We're the second franchise. But, without context, without understanding what that means, that doesn't mean like you were the original franchise and then 5 years later, the second team. No, you were the original franchise for exactly 1/2 of a second. So congratulations to you. You signed the charter first. The Cardinals signed first, followed by George Halas of the Chicago Bears, followed by whoever. But the point is this: the only reason that the Cardinals signed first was because George Halas was holding the pen, explaining to everybody else about what this deal meant, because Halas was the boss in this early room. He was explaining, he was holding the pen, and then as a courtesy, he wasn't thinking about history. As a courtesy, he said, now we're all going to sign the charter. And he handed the pen to the owner of the Chicago Cardinals, who were his arch rival. It was an act of courtesy from rival to rival. George Halas gave his Cardinal rival of the Chicago Cardinals the pen. They signed first, and now they won't let Bear fans hear the end of it. We're older than you. Shut up. I shouldn't be this angry because, the Cardinals are my second team of my youth. The Arizona, I always root for the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals were the South Side team in Chicago throughout, the 40s, 50s, 30s, 40s, whatever, going all the way back to 1920. They were the team on the South Side, and I grew up on the South Side. My father was a Chicago Cardinals fan. Heart was broken when they moved, Chicago Cardinal fan, all of that. So I have some allegiance to the Cardinals. But, stop bragging about being the original team. Again, you are the original team by like 1/2 of a second, however long it takes to sign and then hand the pen back to George Halas, who then signed. Tired of this bullshit. Adam Reyna says it's a straight up Wes Anderson movie. Are you talking about King or Emperor Norton the First? Because I could see that. That's good. I wouldn't want to see that though. I'm certain that it does seem like the idea, the basis for a Wes Anderson film. I just think that Wes Anderson goes too far with a lot of his concepts. I think they're really interesting stories, and then they're just a little too weird and almost unwatchable and slow to me. Honestly, I'm not hating on Wes Anderson. I just think sometimes it's like, This story, Edward the First, I would like to see it done by Taika Waititi. That's who I would like to see him do it. I would like to see him because of that pirate thing that he did on HBO Max that I didn't love. But he seems to have a good, cool idea and fun vision of what that era or what that sort of in the 1800s or whatever, what that was like. Anyway, that would be my suggestion. But I could also totally see it being Wes Anderson. I would just like to give it to Taika. On this day, antecedently in the year 1983, Vanessa Williams becomes the first Black Miss America. This was a huge thing, man. This was a big thing. I mean, the story got bigger, a couple of months later when old Bob Guccione of Penthouse got involved in the conversation. But it seems so funny now. And this is when I just get bummed out about how old I am, because this is how the world has changed. It was a big deal that a Black woman was named Miss America. I mean, it was perfectly acceptable in civilized society for people to go, well, I don't think a Black woman represents America. America is a white country. Like that's kind of what people thought openly, which is now such a marginalized take because, we understand that this country's everybody from everywhere. And then an American doesn't look like one thing. That's the awesome thing about this country. Where everything looks like the same thing. That's German. That's your Ireland. You ever go to Ireland? You ever seen them ugly people? Those people, man. Talk about a nation that could use some immigrants. Ireland, and they're like rioting in the streets because finally there's some immigrants in that country. The Irish blood. I'm just saying, genetically, the Irish bloodline, just from an attraction. They could use some Black, some Haitian, some Spanish, whatever it is. It's been 300 years since the Spanish Armada. Okay, the Black Irish, that bloodline is running really thin at this point. You get some Asians in that blood pool, that genetic pool. How did we start talking about this? Oh, because it was weird in 1983 when Vanessa Williams was the first Black Miss USA. Not for me, though. I remember. Just a little kid. What was I, 13, 14? Oh, 14 years old. Holy crap. Yeah, think about it. Yeah, you're damn right. I got vivid memories of Vanessa Williams. Because this is also back in a time when a 14-year-old would be watching the Miss America pageant. You know why? Because we had 4 channels. We had 4 fucking channels, and I'm 14, and one of them is going to have a bunch of hot chicks in bikinis or bathing suits or whatever. Yeah, you damn right I'm going to be watching that. I would say it was a day that I had learned a lot about myself as far as, where I'm willing to go sexually, as far as, how what my tastes are. Do I have any limitations? Was I into black girls is basically what I'm trying to say. I was like 13 years old and I lived on the south side of Chicago. So yeah, I was already into black girls. I'd seen hot black girls. Okay, so that wasn't why. But there was something sexy about her. And I wonder if that's just me projecting what, you know what I mean? Like in the moment, was she, I don't know, just Vanessa Williams, dirty sexy. That's what I'm saying. She's absolutely gorgeous, like world-class gorgeous. And then those pictures, oh my God, the stuff that had her resign. She was in disgrace. She had to resign from Miss America because, of course, Penthouse released some pictures, some modeling photos that she had done with another girl. And there's like, she's a lesbian. She's not only black, but she's a lesbian. She must be burned at the stake. I mean, that was kind of the reaction in 1983. And then guess what happened? Time went on, and people went, you know what? It's really not a big deal what she did. She didn't really do anything at all, even remotely wrong. She didn't do anything wrong. Those pictures, those Vanessa Williams nude photos, they're just nude photos. Every girl in America has nude photos now that they send to their boyfriends. It's just a nude photo. And by the way, done very artistically, obviously not her captured in her private life. This is her performing as an artist, a body artist, a model, whatever. Anyway, it just wasn't, she didn't do anything wrong. And they were very provocative images of her with another woman. But they weren't like grinding on each other or anything. Were they? I don't, my point is this. I don't think they were that bad. I think they were like, especially by modern standards. Anyway, she would go on to have an acting career and all that. And she's pretty cool. She seems pretty cool. She's still beautiful. She's like, what, 80? I don't know. How old is she? She's probably 60-ish, something like that. She's still beautiful. Vanessa Williams becomes the first Black Miss USA. On this day in 2013, Grand Theft Auto earns more than $500 million on its very first day of release. It's Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5. On this day, antecedently in 2016, 2 bombs explode in Seaside Park, New Jersey, and then later Manhattan. 31 people are injured in the Manhattan bombing. You remember this one? I was reminded of this one today. The guy, the Mad Bomber, there was like one whole day where it was like, New York is on lockdown. They've closed the tunnel. I don't know what happened with that. Anyway, that was on this day in 2016. 31 people are injured. Nobody's killed, though. Okay, that's good. All right, let's move on. Q2, let's do some birthdays. These are people who were born on this day. They say it's their birthday, and I'm just going to take them at their word. How about this? Can we talk about this guy? I did this yesterday. I was just extemporaneously rattling off the names of American music icons. And I think I was like, he ain't like a... Now I can't do it. He ain't like an Elvis or a Sinatra or a Michael Jackson. I just rattled up, and I always, I guess as far back as I go is like Sinatra, That's he ain't like an Al Jolson. I don't go that far back. But here's a name, born on this day in 1923, who I usually don't say, and I think I should, and I know better. I should, because this person whose name I'm about to tell you, he is as big an American cultural icon as anybody else. He stands on that mountain with Sinatra. He stands on that mountain with Michael Jackson. It's Hank Williams' birthday. And I'm just not entirely certain that like everybody really gets what Hank Williams was. Because I promise you, I grew up in Chicago. I did not have much of an appreciation for Hank Williams growing up. It honestly did take me moving to Texas, as a young man, I was 30, and having new sets of friends who listened to new music. I mean, it's how I became a Johnny Cash freak. I have a lot of friends around here. They're musicians or were 20 years ago and stuff like that. And they had cool ideas about music. When I first really got in and started learning about Hank Williams, I was like, holy crap. Why don't we honor this guy the way some of these other people are? I mean, it's almost like, and maybe it's deserving, I don't know. I don't want to get into a contest here, but when you think about the most important person in country music, I think that we default to Johnny Cash now. I think we go Johnny Cash, and I think it should be Hank Williams. I think Johnny would tell you that. I think Johnny would be like, yeah, no, it should absolutely. I'll get out of the way. You guys gonna let Hank through? I'll get out of the way. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, born on this day in 1923, Hank Williams, American icon, singer, songwriter, guitarist. Born on this day in 1945, Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson, American basketball coach. So I got some thoughts. I got some Phil Jackson thoughts. I have some firsthand experiences with Phil Jackson. I was a producer. I was a young associate producer / runner and all of that for Chicago Bulls post game back in those championship years. Worked with producers. I for a lot of years I was like, I was a producer, but then I was like, that's kind of misrepresenting what my role was. At least in these early years, rolling around. I've been in rooms and I've been places like feeding cords underneath the bench during a game so that the broadcast could be heard because some player tripped over it, and I'm, excuse me, under the bed, that kind of thing. Hey, they want some beers. Can you go get the broadcasters some beer? And then you're crawling on the ground because you're trying to stay out of the camera shot because the radio was right next to the camera. Anyway, it was really cool. It was a cool experience. And I'm glad that I get to have those memories and tell those stories because obviously those teams were something special. Those were the Jordan Bulls. Those were the Phil Jackson Bulls. And this is where I'm going to break from the myth here. I don't think Phil Jackson is the greatest basketball coach of all time. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't have an axe to grind against Phil Jackson. The dude was the coach of my team, and it gave me 6 titles. Gave me 6 world titles within 9 years. Crazy efficiency. So I don't have any ill will towards him or anything like that. I just think he's overrated. I think that what he does better than anybody else. And I can give a firsthand sort of explanation of this. What he does is manage superstars. What he does is understand how to, and maybe this is because of his Zen, this is because of his whole, philosophy, bent where everything is a deeper question and all of this kind of stuff. Yeah, he was very good at that. And I can remember during timeouts being underneath, crouching down, listening to him talk to the team. And the way he talked to the team was not the way I'd ever heard a coach talk to a team in a moment like that again. So there was something special about him. I get that there was something special about him. That said, in Chicago, he had Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, which, and then later Dennis Rodman, and you can win with that. And then he went and got Shaq and Kobe, right? He went to LA and got, so I have no axe to grind against our birthday boy, Phil Jackson. I know firsthand that he was something different and he was something special. But the greatest basketball coach, I am sorry. If I'm being honest, what Phil Jackson was a genius at doing, you don't understand, Phil Jackson didn't earn that job the way a coach. Phil Jackson was in the CBA. He was coaching in the CBA when the Bulls fired Doug Collins. Doug Collins had taken the Bulls to 2 consecutive playoff runs with a young Michael Jordan, and they unceremoniously and shockingly to everybody in Chicago fired Doug Collins. Now, there are rumors about why. Jerry Reinsdorf had a daughter. Doug Collins had a Mistress problem, whatever, but for no reason that anyone could understand in Chicago, Jerry Reinsdorf fired Doug Collins. And we were like, what? And out of nowhere, they bring in this tall, 6'6", former New York Knicks center dork named Phil Jackson from the CBC. And we went nuts as Bull fans. We were like, what? What are you doing? Why are you firing the best young coach in the league, Doug Collins, who was considered that at the time? But again, he had Jordan. And you're bringing in this guy that and what Phil Jackson did, what he was genius at doing was he surrounded himself with assistant coaches, namely Johnny Bach and Tex Winter. He surrounded himself with these coaches who he knew could be extraordinarily successful head coaches in their own right, except for one thing. They had a problem, their personality problems. Like Johnny Bach and Tex Winter could have absolutely been championship caliber head coaches in the league, but they were difficult guys and all that. Phil Jackson figured out how to surround himself with these geniuses who he could also manage, because remember, he had a way of managing Michael and Scotty and Dennis with his cool ass Zen bullshit. He was a genius at that. Is he the best NBA coach of all time? I gotta push back. Phil Jackson, born on this day in 1945. Born on this day in 1948, John Ritter. Oh. I don't know why this one always gets me. I just liked John Ritter. It's kind of like Tom Hanks, right? Like, Paul Rudd. I mean, he had this vibe. I would say Dave Grohl, but Dave Grohl has deceived us all. Dave Grohl is not what we thought he was. But you know that vibe that like Tom Hanks, Ron Howard, I guess those are bad ones to say if you're like politically weird. Like, they're bad people. No, they're not. They're like just good dudes. Just like, yeah, hey, Paul Rudd is in there, right? That's kind of what John Ritter was. John Ritter was like, back in the 80s, he was just like, all right, yeah, let's do. He was just wonderful. John Ritter, born on this day in 1948. Born on this day in 1962, Paul Feig. Paul Feig, American film director. I'm not a big fan of Paul Feig's films. Bridesmaids, that's good. Bridesmaids, very funny. Didn't he do a bad Ghostbusters? Didn't he do the Chick Ghostbusters that nobody saw? I didn't see it because it was Chick Ghostbusters. I didn't see it because I ain't seeing any more Ghostbuster bullshit. I saw 2 back in the 80s, okay? I'm like a man in my 50s. I don't need any more Ghostbusters. But Paul Feig did do something that deserves our attention. Paul Feig created the television show Freaks and Geeks, which I think is one of the best television shows of its era. It's been surpassed because television has been so good for the past 20 years. But Freaks and Geeks, when it debuted and was deemed a failure by NBC when it debuted, it was like, wow, those episodes were powerful. There wasn't shit like that on network TV. You know what? Freaks and Geeks should have been an HBO show. That would have been awesome. I just watched the David Chase documentary. I don't know if you guys have seen this. David Chase, the creator of The Sopranos. There's a 2-part documentary on Max about him, about The Sopranos. David Chase and The Sopranos. And he talks about The Sopranos origin story and where it came from and what they were doing and how he had the script for The Sopranos. And he went to ABC, NBC, and CBS, and even Fox, and he took meetings with them, and he pitched them, and he really wanted it to be an ABC series. And, could you imagine? Could you imagine if The Sopranos had launched on CBS? Oh, my God. And he talked about how, at that point, he hadn't even considered HBO as an option. And then he went and changed television. Anyway, it's pretty good. Paul Feig, he created Freaks and Geeks, and he deserves our eternal respect. Born on this day in 1962. Born on this day in 1965, Kyle Chandler. Ladies and gentlemen, I call him Coach Taylor. Coach Taylor forever. Kyle Chandler. I love Kyle Chandler. I just, I got a kid. Here's what I hope. I got a kid, I got a kid who plays sports. He's got a lot of coaches in his life. I've never, thankfully, knock on wood, I've never seen anything from any of his coaches that would make me think that he is in nothing less than the best of possible hands. Not what I'm saying. But when I think of what I want as a coach, this could be a coach draft, but I wouldn't know how to really do that effectively. I want Coach Taylor at every level in my kid's life. Coach Taylor, Friday Night Lights. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, Kyle Chandler, our birthday boy, he played Coach Taylor. What was the other one? What was the woman's name? Connie Taylor. No, it was Connie Britton playing whoever, Mama Taylor. I really hope that Kyle Chandler's, and I think that maybe to some degree it has, but I really hope that Kyle Chandler's portrayal of a Texas high school football coach between 2007 and 2000 and whatever, however long it was on. I really hope that his portrayal of a coach has influenced and impacted an entire generation of coaches to come. Because he was just, I just went through a re-binge of Friday Night Lights a couple of months ago. And I remember going, God damn, that dude made me cry. That's what you want a coach to be. I think Coach Taylor of Friday Night Lights is the single greatest representation of a coach ever put on television or film. There you go. I'm going to fight on that hill. Born on this day in 1965, the great Kyle Chandler. Born on this day in 1990, the great Texas Ranger, Marcus Semien. Boy, I remember when my White Sox traded old Marcus Semien away to the A's for a bag of beans. We don't want him. What do you got? And then the A's came out with something they found in the backseat of their car. What about this? And we're like, yeah, we'll give you Marcus Semien. Yeah, we suck. Happy birthday, Marcus. Marcus Semien, born on this day in 1990. Born on this day in 1995. Interesting conversation we can have here. It's Patrick Mahomes' birthday. Mahomes. All right, so here's the deal with Patrick Mahomes. He occupies an interesting place in my life, especially now. I think this year is going to tell us a lot, but if I had to make a decision now, I would say he is, in my opinion, the heir apparent to Tom Brady. Now, what does that mean? What is it, the heir apparent to Tom Brady? That just means in my own personal poll, in my lifetime, I have, from time to time, had an obvious greatest quarterback of all time. I can trace it all the way back. The first one was Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw is the greatest quarterback. I saw him do something on Monday Night Football when I'm like 6, and I went, holy shit. Terry Bradshaw got passed up by Dan Marino. I was like, oh my God, after Dan Marino's rookie season, I was, oh my God, holy crap. And he was young, and I was more into football, and I thought this career is going places. And then Marino was passed, and for the next 15 years or so, if you said, who's the greatest quarterback of all time? I was like, well, that's obviously Joe Montana. I was a Joe Montana guy. Like, Montana's the greatest. So in my personal life, we've got Terry Bradshaw to Dan Marino, then Joe Montana, and it was only just a couple of years ago. It was after he was traded to the Buccaneers that I finally relented, and I said, Tom Brady's number one. Tom Brady. So Tom Brady is like the best quarterback alive. I got to tell you, if Patrick Mahomes wins another Super Bowl, and we might even be done now, but if Patrick Mahomes wins another Super Bowl, and he wins a Super Bowl the way Patrick Mahomes wins Super Bowls, it's going to be over. I'm sorry, Tom. You will no longer be the GOAT. You will be surpassed by a kid who's not even 30 yet. I don't even know how old he is or how long he's going to play. And the reason I make that distinction is because I'm not accounting for hardware alone. Yes, winning titles is a big deal, which is why I say if Patrick Mahomes wins another Super Bowl this year, then I'm going to be like, okay, I think he's better than Brady. And again, it's not just about titles. Well, Brady's got like 50. No, okay, it's not about titles. It's the way Patrick Mahomes wins games. It's the way he plays the quarterback position. It's different than Tom Brady. Tom Brady is great. And again, when he got traded to the Buccaneers and he won a Super Bowl, I was like, what the fuck, man? What is this? Thankfully, I'm not going to see that repeated with Aaron Rodgers at the Jets. And no, Rodgers ain't winning nothing with the Jets. Anyway, Patrick Mahomes having a birthday today. I do think He's the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. I guess that's how I honestly answer that question. Pugs, you can have any quarterback of any era to start one game for your team. Who do you want? And if I'm asked that question today, I'm going to say a healthy Patrick Mahomes. It's crazy how good that kid is. It's crazy. He's influenced. Not only that, not only is he a different quarterback and doesn't play the way that Tom Brady did, but now everybody is trying to play the way Patrick Mahomes does. Everybody is throwing a crossbody on the run. Everybody is looking for the broken play to be an artist back there. And that's good. I think that's good. I think that's more exciting. I do. I think that's more exciting football. But okay. Happy birthday, Patrick Mahomes. You are a transcendent icon, and you are still in the absolute prime of your career. Holy shit. Think of what Patrick Mahomes is going to be getting into at 50. Is he going to be Peyton Manning? Is Patrick Mahomes going to be like hosting a TV? No, TV. There won't be TV when Patrick Mahomes is 50. That's like 20 years from now. All right, let's keep going. There you go. Happy birthday, Patrick Mahomes. Now let's do the deads. These are the people who've died. These are the people who've died. People who've passed away on this day. Let's go. On this day, dead, 1996, Spiro Agnew. It's going to hell. Spiro Agnew is vice president of the United States. He's going to hell. And no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's a politician. Fuck that guy. He's gone. Dead on this day in 2017, Bobby the Brain Heenan, American professional wrestler and wrestling manager. Those guys are pretty sketch, right? Like the whole wrestling scene. When was he born? Oh, geez, he wasn't born that long ago. He would have been like, in it's sketch. He's going to hell. Bobby the Brain Heenan. He was a bad guy too. I mean, but I was trying to account for maybe that's just a character he plays, and was he good in real? I don't know. That's why I had to speculate what he was like backstage at the Hippodrome in 1965 outside Tacoma, Washington. Probably getting into some shit, and that's why we're putting him in hell. I make assumptions, and I banish your soul for eternity based on said assumptions. Dead on this day in 2019, Cokie Roberts. Cokie Roberts was a nice ABC News lady. I used to watch her all the time. She used to do like the Sunday morning stuff, and then she died of cancer. And I was sad when she died of cancer. So Cokie Roberts, I'm putting her in heaven. There we go. All right, that's going to do it, folks. That's everybody. That's all the first 3 quarters of the show. It's time now once again to thank our executive producer, the lovely. She's one of the Fighting 15. That's what people are saying they're called. The fight, I've heard it. The Fighting 15. They fight for this show every month. That's Leslie C. Thank you for being today's executive producer. If you want to help out the show and be tomorrow's executive producer, drop a little something. But if you can't, and this is important, and it's totally fine if you can't. I mean, totally cool. I couldn't. I can't. Please. I'm doing a little song and dance out here on the street corner every day for my supper. But if you can't, follow. Share. Sharing's so important, man. We need to try and spread this show. We need to have more people, more. We need to grow. We really need to start to make an effort. I find that, something I'm not great at doing, tooting my own horn. I just never been great at that. But you guys can. I mean, it's got to come down to you guys. You got to share the show, and I don't know, whatever. We'll move on. Appreciate you, though. Barney says Uncle Rico is the greatest living quarterback. There you go. I always love a good Napoleon Dynamite joke. Can I make an admission here? An admission that I had to confront a couple of months back. So apparently Napoleon Dynamite has made it to Gen Z. And especially Gen Z teenage boys. Uncle Rico is very popular. My 15-year-old gets Uncle Rico references and all that kind of stuff. But they've never seen the movie. Like they get the references from memes and stuff, but they don't understand the full context. So my son, a couple of months back, was like, Dad, I got a movie that I'll watch with you. And I'm like, yeah, what's that? And when he says that, it's always something, from the olden days, because in his mind, Napoleon Dynamite is from the olden days. Yeah, that's right. I live with that. A constant reminder of my own mortality and how old I'm getting. So I go, what is it? And he goes, Napoleon Dynamite. He goes, I'll watch Napoleon Dynamite with you. And I was like, like on the one hand, I was like, oh, that's awesome. I love that you are making a choice that is going to be interesting to both you and me. That's wonderful. Thank you for that. And then I said, nope. No, I don't want to watch that. I feel like I saw Napoleon. I did. I saw Napoleon Dynamite when it came out. And I was like, that movie's funny. That's a quirky, funny little movie. And then all of a sudden, it like becomes this like huge thing, and I'm like, really? I go, do you guys think that movie's like super funny? It's kind of taken on a life of its own, and I think it's because as a full movie, it's not that great, but as little vignettes, as like just little scenes, it's very funny, and I think that's why my son and his generation seem to enjoy it. He's like, you want to watch the movie? I was like, no, I don't want to watch that movie. Because when I think about that movie, I think, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I would fast forward through. There's a lot of stuff that I think is just stupid. Unlike another movie from that relative same era, Idiocracy, which I still can't get him to watch. I love Idiocracy. That movie holds up. That's a hell of a good movie. Yeah, Peter, that is true. Napoleon Dynamite, great characters, like great character portrayals, great individual acting by actors who've created these characters. Really good stuff. Awesome. I agree. John Heater, that Napoleon Dynamite character is, well, I mean, look at how good it was. We're talking about it in 2024. And it almost I think it did kind of destroy his career. That's how good that character was. He embodied that character so much that I don't think he ever got any work again. John Heater. That's too bad because he was so great. Great characters. Let's see here. All right, first and foremost, what's going on? What does ABC News as they stream live behind us? What do they say is the big story of the day? Or I guess what they're covering now. Life-threatening floods soak the Carolinas. Yeah, no, I want to talk about Diddy. Let's talk about Diddy. That doesn't even remotely interest me when we talk about what the big news story is. So this happened last night. I had watched the football game, the Monday night game, and I took the dog out for its walk, and then I came home and I went for I did my stuff I do before I go to bed, and then I got in bed. And as I got in bed, I had put YouTube on because I like to go to sleep with the ambient sounds of a rainstorm. I choose the black screen, 24-hour live stream, rain and thunder. I love it. So I keep that on. And as I'm doing that, I see that there's a news bulletin on YouTube, and I'm like, what's that? And I click on it. And it's my guy, Steve Lookner, last night at like 11 o'clock or something. It's my guy, Steve Lookner. He does a great breaking news, Agenda Free on YouTube. If you want to like and follow that, he's amazing. Agenda Free, Steve Lookner. So I see him and he's got a breaking, and I'm like, what's going on? And I hate this. This is like the worst thing. I want to go to bed. I've already taken my melatonin. I'm getting ready to fall asleep. And all of a sudden now there's something that's engaged with me, right? There's something that I'm interested in. So he breaks the news to me last night at around 11 o'clock that P. Diddy, Sean Combs, whatever we're calling him this week, he's been arrested, and he was arrested in a hotel. In New York City. And what's interesting about him being arrested, the details are that he surrendered in the lobby of the hotel. So the feds showed up at the hotel. They said, come on down. He came down. He was arrested. Why is this interesting? Because apparently he was in New York, supposedly to turn himself in tomorrow. Apparently his attorneys had worked out a deal where he was going to turn himself in tomorrow. And that was a deal made. And for some reason, the feds went, yeah, I don't know if we're going to trust that deal. Now, what could have happened there? It could have been that there was some fear on the part of the authorities that details of the exact charges maybe had been leaked. And this could cause someone with the means of Sean P. Diddy Combs to flee the country fairly easily. So for whatever reason, the feds reneged on the deal to allow him to turn himself in peacefully this afternoon. And last night they crashed his hotel and said, you coming with us? I got to believe that it's because they thought he was going to flee. I got to believe because he understood the gravity now of what they had. Maybe there was some discovery that had to have been divulged to his defense team, and now they're like, they know about the blank. So maybe it spooked him. Maybe the authorities felt like we need to move now. We need to move now. So that's what happened this morning. It was explained by the Department of Justice, not the Department, it's the New York Southern District, I guess, but they work for the Department of Justice. So they gave a little press conference today. The dude comes out and he's like, talking about all the shit. But this is all, you remember, this is all stemming from those raids from back in March, I think it was, where federal authorities in 2 locations raided the homes of Sean Combs, one in Los Angeles, one in Miami. So, and then there's like months and months and months of them going through the stuff that they found and, culminated in the events that we are living through today. So let's get to the press conference. Here's what they told us. The charges, he's being charged in federal court with 3 things, 3 federal counts, 1 for racketeering, 1 for sex trafficking, and 1 for enabling prostitution. Okay. He's being charged with they say he manipulated women and men to have sex with him and guests, of which he would then film them, filming the guests. Let's not bury the lead because of all the details that I've read here. One of the most interesting, as it will, I don't know how to say this. So Diddy's gay I guess I'm just going to come out and say it. So Diddy's gay. These charges have all kinds of things about dudes doing things sexually to Diddy and Diddy paying dudes to do things and then Diddy paying dudes to do things with other people. They were called freak off. I've heard it reported 2 ways. I've heard these parties termed P. Diddy's freak off parties or P. Diddy's freak out parties. I'm not sure which one. I think freak off sounds more legit, but okay, so basically what he did was he threw these big parties for all kinds of important people. See where we're going with this? Oh, it's going to be good. So he threw all these parties for these important people, and because he's P. Diddy, everybody wanted to come to a P. Diddy party, so he had this interesting collection of, I guess it's like if you were on the outs with Epstein, maybe you went and partied with Diddy. Is that East Coast Epstein, West Coast Diddy? So these freak off parties, and Diddy would apparently bring in prostitutes from all over, which of course now makes it a federal thing because engaging in an activity which entails bringing prostitutes for illegal purposes across state lines. Well, now we got the feds involved. So, if he was down partying in Miami and he wanted his favorite Vegas prostitute, the minute she got on a plane, he's now sex trafficking. I mean, these are just the obvious ones that I see here. See, because when these charges, like, I don't know, I've not heard anything about him bringing in Thai children in cargo ships, right? Sex trafficking sounds really nefarious, and I haven't heard that. It seems to be that all of these charges stem from him throwing parties in which he provided free sexual entertainment. And then also, they said in the press conference today that the videotape that we all saw of Cassie, remember Cassie? Here, I'll show you. We've got the videotape here. This was released a couple of months back, and we were all shocked by it. It depicts, it didn't depict, it shows, it's a document of Diddy beating the crap out of Cassie. Cassie is the woman who started this whole thing by accusing Diddy of raping her and all of this stuff. Yeah. And hold on, let's watch this. Cassie brought the original charges against him. And Cassie brought charges against him. And she said she was going to go wide with the charges. And then the very next day, remember, he settled for a big dollar amount. He shut it down immediately. But that caused other people to come forward. And the cascading amount of evidence that authorities were able to piece together by all of these different people and then connecting them, that's kind of what sunk him. Anyway, this is the video from let's see here. This is just a couple of months back, right? This was released after his homes were raided by federal authorities, and then like a month went by or something, and then we got this video
to support some of the accusations of abuse against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs.
We want to warn you that this video you're about to see is extremely graphic. The surveillance footage that was captured inside of a Los Angeles hotel in 2016 allegedly shows Combs assaulting then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a hallway. A now settled lawsuit filed by Ventura claimed that she was trying to leave the hotel after a drunken Combs punched her. The video appears to show Combs chasing her down the hall, throwing her to the ground, and then repeatedly kicking her. So far, there's been no comment from Combs or his attorney.
All right, so there we go. We remember that. Now, why is that important? Because they're using that piece of video as evidence that he held these women against their will and that there was physical violence and intimidation. And that is, we're checking more federal boxes for kidnapping, and now you want to connect that to the fact that they were brought across state lines for sexual purposes. Now you got something really nefarious. So he's cooked, dude. I'm sorry. I think Diddy is cooked. Do we have an issue? Do we have a bail, right? That's what we're waiting to hear now, is if he is going to receive bail. Let me see. When is he due in court? He's due in court. Diddy indicted, sex trafficking, racketeering, claims he's head of a criminal enterprise. Yeah, he is. I'm sure there's a whole bunch. Yeah. I mean, we're thinking of that in terms of like the 5 families of New York, but no, he's the head of a criminal enterprise. I am certain that he is deriving some income from illegal activities, be it drug dealing or whatever, but that's gun trafficking, whatever. Again, I am someone who's rewatching Sons of Anarchy. So their income was derived from all kinds of stuff. I don't see why Sean P. Diddy Combs couldn't get into a little arms dealing. Anyway, my point is this. Yes, I absolutely think that he probably lives as, that's the whole gangster thing, right? Faces decades in prison, freak parties, blackmail video. Okay, I guess we don't know if he's going to be remanded too, or if he's going to be given bail. Off the top of my head, it should be made clear. They said this ain't over. This is not over. They're going to continue. The investigation is ongoing. There are more indictments coming in the pipeline. He's just the first. What's he going to talk about? Is Diddy gonna do 50? This is what, for all us Epstein people who are like, that dude just died. And by the way, you better keep fucking Diddy alive. They better keep him alive, because I don't think we as a nation can handle that. I think if we wake up on Saturday morning to the news that Diddy has hung himself in prison, I think that we will just, or will we? Or will we just be like, and just, go back to watching college football, managing our fantasy team? I don't know. But fuck the shamelessness. If they try to kill Diddy before he can make a deal and talk for a lesser sentence, which is obviously what's going to happen. They arrest him first. They say it's ongoing. They say there's more indictments coming. They arrest him first. He's taking the big hit right now. He's going to sit down and he's going to start talking about some things, and they're going to get some names. Unless they kill him first, which, is very possible. They could absolutely kill him first. And what will we do? Freak out parties. At these freak out parties, he would drug women and then force them to have sex with prostitutes. Police found evidence in both his Miami and Los Angeles homes of these freak out parties. He found 1,000 bottles of lube. 1,000. But what are we talking about here? Are these, does he give gift bags with little tiny bottles of lube? With 1,000 little tiny, because, like you go to look, say what you will about P. Diddy. He's a class act. You go to a sex party at Diddy's house, he's giving you a gift bag, and in it is going to have a little bottle. So is that what we're talking about? We're talking about little bottles of lube? Or are we talking like big Sam's Club bottles of lube? I don't know. That would be my question. That's why they won't let me be a journalist, because that would be the question I would ask. Excuse me, sheriff, or whoever it is. Excuse me, agent in charge. Let's see. He drugged women, and then he'd make them have sex with prostitutes. Police found evidence. He found bottles. They had 1,000 bottles of lube. They found all kinds of party drugs. They found roofies. They found ecstasy. What would they do? Find a portal to 1995? Is that what they did? Yeah, they found all kinds of like party drugs and stuff like that. They also found videos, like not videotapes, but they found like, I guess, equipment that has files on them with video. And anyway, so there's stuff. We don't know if he's going to get bail yet or if it's going to be granted or declined. This would be a job for you chat room people. If it happens to come up today while we're doing the show, let me know if he got bail or if it was declined. I would think it's got to be declined. I would think it has to be declined. It has to be declined. It has to be. They got to keep him, man. This is who is he partying with? I'll tell you this. You know who P. Diddy wasn't partying with? You, me, none of us. We're all in the clear. So we want to know who was getting invited to the parties that we weren't getting invited to. I want to see who. I want to see who's on these tapes having sex with prostitutes and stuff. Oh, man. Let's go. Let's do it. Diddy ain't going to kill himself. I'm telling you, in a couple of days, we'll probably be covering the story of Diddy hanging himself in prison. He ain't going to kill himself. He ain't going to kill himself. We know this. We know this. Eric. Oh, by the way, Eric, thank you. Eric was a tipper yesterday, too. Eric, my guy, thank you so much. He says these charges are so serious. They are pretty serious. They are pretty serious. Yes, they are pretty serious. But they are also the result of his lifestyle as a pop impresario. Like regular people, like, how do I explain this? P. Diddy threw parties like nobody else throws parties because he's P. Diddy, and because of these parties, he engaged in things that were just, specific to his line of work. If P. Diddy's going to have a party and you're going to show up, you would think that there'd be certain things that are free. You're not paying for a red cup at the door, and the exorbitance of that lifestyle. And I've seen it. I've never been exactly a fly on the wall with the great exorbitance, but I know rich people. I know how rich people act. Behind closed doors, it's like a kink for them to push the boundaries of what is acceptable, to do things. It's the way, it's Caligula. It's the emperor's life. So yeah, there's going to be some really fucked up things that we will learn about these so-called freak-off parties. And we're going to want a whole bunch of people in jail. Are there going to be children and stuff like that? That's, what, leave that to the QAnon people. But I do think there's going to be like a whole bunch of prostitutes and exploited women and all kinds of things. I think there's going to be that. Because that's what we do. We get the wealthiest people in Hollywood together and then we pee on poor whores. That's how there is nothing funnier than defecating on a poor whore. Let's see it. Let's see it and let's put names to those people. Huh? Oh, Jesus. What if it's like, I don't want it to be like Ron Howard again. I don't want it to be, who else could it be? I don't want it to be David Letterman. It's like, oh no, Letterman. Letterman is pooping on poor women. Oh God. Jimmy Fallon. I could see it being Jimmy Fallon. Absolutely. He's exactly the kind that I think could be out there hanging out with P. Diddy because he's such a fucking cocksmoker. That dude, I hate Jimmy Fallon. Oh, don't get me started. Sports Brock. Chris says Justin Bieber's freaking out right now. Yeah, but he got his bag, and honestly, why would he be freaking out? He should be like, he should be indemnified. He was a child, right? We think that he was one of their play toys that got passed around. Is that what we're going with? Because that's what I kind of think. I think Usher might have some stories too. I just think they ought to all go on tour with Corey Feldman. Wouldn't that be great? Bieber, Usher, and Corey Feldman. They go on tour. What would you call that? Oh, the chat room. There's got to be a good name for that concert tour. All right, we're going to move on. What else do we have here? Count one of which he's being charged conspiracy. They're saying that he ran a business that was related to sex trafficking. Count two is the sex trafficking by force or coercion. That is evidenced by the video of Cassie that we watched. Okay, so that's count two. Count three, transportation to engage in interstate sex commerce. That's the prostitution charge. And that's because he flew some hotties from Miami to Los Angeles, to have sex with Chinese billionaires or whatever was going on. All right, so we got more to learn here. We got more to learn about P. Diddy. We got to figure out if he's going to be behind bars or if he's going to make bail and he's going to be out there walking the streets for the next however long it takes for this thing to go to court. It'll probably be 3 years. You know how long these things take when it's rich people involved. They just keep pushing it back. That's the big story of the day, though. P. Diddy. You're not so cool now, are you, Diddy? No, you are not. All right, let's talk about this. Here's the other story. This is a big story that could have led everything, if not for the P. Diddy thing. But, man, let me tell you something, you guys. When y'all gonna learn? When are y'all gonna learn? The Jews are just better at this shit than the rest of us. The Jews, why is that ego that for millennia we've been looking at the Jews and their good ideas and we've been going, I feel threatened by that. Let's put them all in, is that what's going on? Because I'm here to say, this latest one, you have got to give it to the Jews, man. Munich, have you ever seen Munich? About how they one by one, the Mossad, how they one by one hunted down the Palestinian terrorists. Just Munich. Look at, the Jews are not to be fucked with. Did you see what they did today? And it's so brilliant. It is so brilliant. Yesterday, the big story coming out of the Hamas-Hezbollah Israeli war, which had heated up a couple of weeks ago. And it slowly, we had stopped paying attention, but it was still going on, and Israel was still very active with bombings. Israel announced yesterday to the entire world that they were done with bombings and that they were going to cease all operations against Hezbollah in Beirut. They were going to take a break, and they were going to focus their attentions. Okay, so they told the world that we're done with Hezbollah yesterday. We're like, we're done with you. It's been fun. We're going to go back. We're going to focus on Hamas. So that's what they told Hezbollah. And that's what the whole world was like. So Hezbollah, they were like, all right, we can come out of our holes. Okay, very good. All right, let's regroup, guys. Hey, did everybody get the new pagers? Did everybody get the new phones? So, like 1,000 here. I'm going to give you the numbers here because the numbers are just fantastic. Okay, so Hezbollah, they apparently use all these pagers, right? And they had just gotten a new shipment of pagers. They use this terrorist network, all the infantry and the soldiers, they use pagers. And they had just gotten new pagers like a couple of days ago. And today, all the pagers blew up. They all, boom! A day after, the Israeli state said, yeah, we're done. We're done. We're not going to blow anything else up. And then the next day, all the Jews, the Israelis, they got a bunch of pagers and they did something to make them overheat and then explode. It's like the greatest. And it's just such a fuck you because of yesterday. Yesterday, like, yeah, okay, Hezbollah, you can take a break. We're cool. Hezbollah vows to punish Israel after pager explosions across Lebanon. Now, I don't know, did these all happen at the same time? Like, was there like a way that the Israelis triggered all of these people? Like, all these dudes are wearing little bombs. Hezbollah all gladly attached tiny little bombs to their belts. And then all in one swoop, did Israel hit a button and they all blowed up real good? Brilliant. This is brilliant. And again, I point out yesterday, they specifically said, we're done fucking with Hezbollah. Hezbollah can relax. We're going to go start working on Hamas again. And then they blew up. Come on. You got to give them Jews credit. Woo, they are clever. Hezbollah calls it its biggest security breach in its entire war with Israel. Hezbollah fighters are among those killed. Pagers are used to try to avoid Israeli detection. Let's see here. No comment by the Israeli military or government. Yeah, they're not saying it. They're like, oh, what happened? They're still using pagers? Oh, that's a shame. That's a real... I hear those pagers are real easy to hack. I hear if you're still using that kind of technology, I don't know. Maybe they ought to look into it for the future. Let's see here. Lebanon's Hezbollah promised to retaliate after blaming Israel for detonating pagers on Tuesday that killed at least 8 people and wounded almost 3,000 others, including many of the militant group's fighters and Iran's envoy to Beirut. So I guess they didn't kill people, but because it's just a little pager, and if that explodes, it'll just be like, it maybe, I don't know. But whatever. It's brilliant. Lebanese Information Minister Zayed Makari condemned the detonation of the pagers used by Hezbollah and others in Lebanon to communicate as an Israeli aggression. Oh, man, I guess. But also, can we just take a breath, everybody, and just marvel at the cleverness of it? They used pagers. What's next? Brick phones? Are they gonna screw up all the bag phones in the area? Are going to be Lebanese Information Minister Zayed Makari condemned the use, blamed it on the Israeli aggression. Hezbollah said Israel would receive its fair punishment for the blasts. That's what's most satisfying about these kinds of things, right? It must be to the Israelis that they're now sitting back and they're listening to the response, and it's obvious Hezbollah is freaked out. It's not like if Hezbollah wanted to not give in, if it didn't want to let Israel win, Hezbollah could have just given a press conference where they were like, yeah, we had a few minor incidents of that. A couple of people were injured, but overall hasn't really affected what it is. That's what Israel or Hezbollah should have said if they didn't want to just let Israel have it. But that's not what they said. They're like, this sucks. You guys are cheating. You can't do that. You can't blow up our pager. That's the reaction that Israel's getting. And Israel's like, yeah, that's it. Oh, this one stung. Because nobody could see that coming. Nobody could see that you're going to fuck with pagers. It's just brilliant. It is just brilliant. God bless the Israelis, man. That is just, whew. God bless. Whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not taking I am not. God bless him. God bless him. Does he know the endless crimes committed against me? Stop it. Okay, we're being normal people. I'm just talking about that. Let's isolate on that specific thing. That's what I'm commenting on. I'm having fun here. Stop being weird. Stop making normal, natural conversation dangerous. Okay? Stop it. All right, you idiots. Here you go. This is going out to you idiots out there. I don't assume that we have any idiots here in the chat room, but you know who these people are. You work with them. You drive in traffic with them. You see them at your kids' games. The idiots, they're all over the place. In line at 7-Eleven. Going the wrong way in a grocery store parking lot. These idiots. The naughty do a 4-way stop. Doesn't get the premise of a 4-way stop. These idiots, they're out there. So a whole bunch of these idiots apparently are just screwing up Springfield, Ohio. Springfield, Ohio, this sleepy little town of about 60,000 people, it became the center of the political debate last week. They're eating cats. The Haitian immigrants are eating cats story. And then the president, because... former president, he's putting it out there so people who just believe anything he says, they're eating cats. And then you got relatively reasonable people trying to defend this. Come on, man, it's not a problem, and it's certainly, bottom line, doesn't rise to the level of national political debate, okay? If there were a couple of cats being eaten in rural Ohio, this is not the concern of the president of the United States. So shut the fuck up. Stop it. You're being dumb. People in Springfield, man, their lives are like shitty right now. Kids can't go to school. Half the schools in the district are all the schools are on lockdown. Half of them have actual classes. The other half have gone to virtual classes. Why? Because there's weirdos. Because these weirdos who are out there who want to be, J.D. Vance didn't lie, and I'm here to prove it. These fucking people are calling in bomb threats to schools. Why is the administration of this town denying that the cats are in danger? You know, it's that kind of crazy fucking lunatic shit that is being drummed up and encouraged by everybody from the likes of President Trump on the debate stage to Elon Musk, the owner of Twitter. What the fuck, man? And so these people in Springfield, their days suck. They canceled football games. Do you know how pissed off that would make me as a football dad? They canceled last week's slate there were 3 high school football games over the course of 4 days last week. All of them were canceled because idiots are like, you better start telling the truth about how the cats is being eaten or I'm blowing up the football game. Because that's the reaction. Stop it. So when you say, well, why are you so mad that Trump is saying that? Why are you so mad? It's because of this. Not because of you, not because of me, but because we can both acknowledge that there's a lot of fucking morons out there who ain't like us, who are going to be like, I totally believe it. So just stop it. These poor people in Springfield, Ohio, can't do anything. Frankie, my boy Frankie, he's in the chat room. He says all the bomb threats are from out of Ohio per the governor. Well, what does that matter? Why is that important? See, I would like Frankie explain to me why it's important that they're not coming from. I don't understand that. I mean, why are we going in that direction? Why don't we just talk about what motivates a person to make a bomb threat? Why don't we just talk about that? Why are we talking about where it's coming from? Like there's a difference. It doesn't make a difference if the bomb threat comes from across the street or across the country. So don't do that. Frankie also says, wait till you hear about the car crashes from Haitians flown into the city. Yeah, I'm sure there are car crashes. And I'm sure that local car accidents are every bit worthy conversation for the global stage. It's a distraction is my point. You people are playing into the distraction. Stop it. But it's fun. I get it, man. It's fun. Life is hard. I don't know what else to say other than let's leave the people of Springfield alone. There you go. Leaving the people of Springfield alone. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the Trump assassin. We're learning a little bit more about this clown show. I still don't know what his deal is. Here's what I think. I think he's one of these weirdos who just fucking like foams at the mouth about Trump, who hates Trump. Here's what I think he is. I think he's one of these. I think he's always been a weirdo. I think he's always probably got a history in his life of overreacting to whatever the situation of the moment is. He was anti-vax. You know, he was very like, I don't want the vax. You know, he was protesting. He's that guy. He's anti Russia, you know, which is good. I don't think that's a bad one. I think that's a good one. He's very, very into that. Like he goes full on into whatever he is. That because he's a crazy person. Because he's a crazy person who can't govern his, you know, emotional will and want. So it seems like he's always been that fucking guy. You know, the kind of guy who's, what's he doing now? Oh, he's running an international aid organization because he's completely into African starvation. He's one of these guys. So he hates Trump. And because he's crazy, he goes all in on that. And I do believe that the guy was a fucking nutty anti-Trump dude. I think there's a lot of these dudes out there. And I just wonder that if you wanted to use some of these people, I wonder if maybe the Secret Service would have a list of these people who are prone to making threats, who might be. I think he's legit. I think he's a patsy. I think this entire thing was set up to show that the Secret Service is back and they can do their job and they can protect Trump. And I think that maybe Donald Trump himself wasn't involved in the ins and outs of it, plausible deniability being important in this kinds of thing. I certainly do think that the people in his orbit who run things, I think that they were probably involved, and they're like, this will be great for us too, because it'll elicit sympathy, because again, they're trying to kill him, and it's good for the Secret Service because the Secret Service can say, look how good we are, and it's good for local law enforcement, especially here. We're going to need the cooperation of local law enforcement, especially if Mr. Trump loses re-election. So let's do that. It just seems all too convenient. And it seems like this idiot was probably never going to be good at doing this anyway. And they identified, somebody recruited him. I think somebody recruited him. I just, again, I'm not saying it wasn't real. I'm not saying that he wasn't in danger. As a matter of fact, I'm saying I don't think Trump knew. I think Trump is just out there golfing. But I think the people, again, the people who are actually, I think they knew, and I think they are looking for anything that can help the campaign right now. They are in desperation mode. And that is exactly the sort of thing that people who are in desperation mode, who have very, very flimsy morals, and I believe the people who call the shots in his orbit have very flimsy morals. It's the kind of thing they would do. So, whatever. This fucking fool, he was there for 12 hours. 12 hours apparently in the bushes. I bet he got some tick bites. Where is this guy, too? This is what I need to know. He's in custody. I know he's in custody. They ain't going to let him go. But how long can they keep him? He didn't squeeze off a shot. Is the gun illegal? Is that an illegal gun? Is there any way that he can have a license for that gun? I mean, he did travel internationally with went over there and fought in the Ukraine. I mean, is there a way that, we live in America. If a God-fearing American wants to have an AK-47, it seems there should be at least some paperwork and some bureaucratic red tape you can go through. Americans should be able to own any gun, so do we know? Because if that gun's legal and all of that shit, he's just a weirdo who was hanging out in the bushes. He didn't fire off any shots. He was shot at. So my point is this, even though I think I know what his intention was, what can you hold him for? He did not try to kill the president. He was there, and it was looking like, if all things had progressed the way maybe he'd imagined he would have, but he didn't. So they just got a guy, they got a vagrant. They got a vagrant, an American citizen, who, let's pretend he's got some kind of right to that gun. Now, if he doesn't, if it's like a federal arms charge, now we got something. Now we can hold him. But I don't know. Is that a thing? Is this guy going to be out there walking the streets in 3 weeks, giving interviews to Jake Paul on YouTube? Nina says, I bet he starts talking and naming names. Well, I'd like to know. I'd like to know what's going on with this guy. Yeah, is there a story, or are you what it looks like? Because what it looks like is just some crazy person who hates Trump and has shown that he's a little bit over the top in everything that he does. Anyway, sounds like he went a little bit over the top again and just didn't have the skills or the preparation to pull it off and got caught fairly easily. And now he's a patsy. He looks like a fool. He's lucky he's not dead the way that other rube up on the rooftop in Butler, Pennsylvania is dead. Boy, that one is starting to look. How about that? The first Trump assassination attempt, that is starting to look more and more open and closed when we compare it to what just happened a couple of days ago. That Butler one looks like, yeah, that seems, I don't have any questions. That seems pretty, like now we're ready to move on from that because this new one is so fucking weird. Let's talk about porn. Let's talk about porn, baby. Let's talk about porn. Me, I don't know. I used to talk to a lot of porn stars. I used to have porn star friends back in the aughts. I don't know why. Well, actually, I do know why. The radio station had a promotion deal or something with. Anyway, they were like, "Hey, you want to have the program director, the boss, would poke his head in the office and be like, "Hey, show sounding great." I'm like, "Oh, good, thank you. You guys want to have and then they'd say a porn star name. He's like, "On the show," and we'd be like, "Okay," and then we'd have him on. Anyway, we weren't a porny show, is my point. But we had a lot of porn stars on, and we talked to them about a lot of stuff, and I got to know a lot of them, and actually some of them became very good friends. Very nice people, smart people. Smart people are just like, I don't give a fuck about fucking. Really? You put all of that on this? I don't care. I come from white trash. I didn't have a whole lot. I'm now worth, blank $1 million and have a vodka named after me. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of the attitude of these people. Were like, look, I'm doing this so that next generation that bear my family name, that they don't have to live in squalor. There's a lot of stories. There's a lot of perspectives to understand why people choose the things that they choose to do. And I learned that in talking to porn stars. I learned that they are people. And the ones that I became friends with were smart people, that were just people who were, again, that we also had the ones who came in and they were all fucked up and you're like, that one will be dead in 6 months. Yeah, that one's not going to survive this business. Ironically, I thought Jesse Jane would. And then Jesse Jane just died a couple of months back. But she did. Jesse did survive the business. It was retirement that got her. It was... or semi-retirement. Anyway, there's a porn star out there, and I did a little quick research, and as it turns out, she is one of the biggest porn stars working today. Her name is Emily Willis. Let's see if we can find a picture of her. It's a very sad story. Emily Willis, back in February, she overdosed on something, fentanyl. It was like another one of these fentanyl. Here we go. Let's see if we get a picture. Yeah, there she is. Okay. She's very pretty. All right, let's hope these are clean. Yeah, so we'll do this one. So she's a young, apparently very big porn star. There she is. That's Emily Willis. She did the fentanyl the way people do, and she lapsed into a coma. This was back in February. Okay, so she lapsed into a coma, and it was decided yesterday. The doctor said that she is she's base. Here, let me tell you exactly what this is. What was the term for it? Okay, come on. Porn star Emily Willis, critical condition, blah, blah, blah. All right, you know what? It doesn't matter. Well, actually, maybe I should give her credit. God damn it, these pop-ups. Just stop. More pop-ups. Nope, stop. Let's see here. Sex icon Emily Willis has been hospitalized for months now due to an overdose. The 25-year-old adult actress was rushed to a medical facility. Now, this is back in February. This is not the latest story. Okay, never mind. I can't find the fucking latest story, and I'm just getting more and more irritated. So let's not ruin the story. She's a vegetable. She's she came out of her coma, and she's basically completely a vegetable. Non something. It's a sad story. We'll move on. There you have it. If any of you are fans, I can't believe I lost the story. I had a whole story here. If you're a fan of adult film actress Emily Willis, and she's very pretty, if you're a fan of hers, they're gonna pull the plug. They're gonna pull the plug today. So, all right, there we go. That's that. What else do we have? Porn star Emily Willis, French husband and wife. I'm not gonna tell you about this French husband and wife. I'm not gonna tell you about this story. This is the most. Nobody needs this story in their life. When I was putting the stories together today, shit I wanted to talk about from the news, I found this one on the AP, the Associated Press. It was one of the top stories they're pushing. And I click on it and I start reading it and I'm like, holy fuck. Holy fuck. So we're going to move on. Here's what I'll tell you. You can Google it if you're interested in the dirty details. And these are some really upsetting details. French husband, wife, rape. There you go. Just Google that. Or don't, because that's the kind of thing that the feds, when they crash down your door, they find, and you're like, that's going to put them in jail for 5 years. Terrible story. I don't want to do it, but somehow I pulled it. Like I was going to talk about it. And I don't know, 3 hours ago, I thought I was going to be in a really dark mood. I don't even know why I did that. Let's talk about something that should put us in a good mood. How about the next generation of Buffetts? This story, I love this story. Hate me billionaires, but I do like a couple of them. Warren Buffett is one of them. The family of Warren Buffett has announced that upon his death, which could be any day now. I mean, Warren Buffett's pretty old. That upon his death, his 3 children would take control of $144 billion Buffett fortune. And their job upon Warren's death is to get rid of all of it through charitable donations and good works within 10 years. Fuck yeah. That is how you become rich. Yeah, of spirit. That's incredible. That is awesome. Buffett's like, I got $144 billion. Okay, deadweight kids, get over here. Here's what we're going to do. Now, you know you're all set up anyway with personal fortunes and all that stuff. So what's going to happen when my $144 billion comes into play? Here's what's going to happen. You guys are going to drop what you're doing. You're going to have a whole new full-time job, and it's going to be to spend that $144 billion through charitable donations and good works. And you're going to have 10 years to do it. I love it. That is awesome. The next generation of Buffetts are poised to become one of the largest forces in philanthropic history. Yeah, I would say. The next generation of Buffetts, Howard, Susie, and Peter, are poised to become one of the most powerful forces in philanthropy when their 94-year-old father, the legendary businessman and leader of Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, passes away. But it wasn't always going to be that way. Warren Buffett announced in June of this past year that he would donate his fortune, now valued at nearly $144 billion, to a charitable trust managed by his 3 children when he dies. This instead of giving it to the Gates Foundation, as he indicated 18 years ago. The next generation of Buffetts will then have 10 years to give the money away, Warren said. And see, the other stipulation, and we can keep reading here, which is why it's so beautiful, this money isn't being given to these kids to make money, okay? Warren Buffett isn't leaving $144 million so that his kids can show you, I know how to invest too. I'm going to turn a profit up. No. This money is being designated by billionaire Warren Buffett to be exclusively used at a loss. You're giving it all away. I love that. Good for him. Let's see here. We got another big story happening. What is the big story here? Bryce Young got benched. Can we talk a little football? Bryce Young, Carolina. They're going with Andrew Dalton. They're going with the Red Rocket. They're going with, I got to tell you, like, Andy Dalton was my quarterback on the Chicago Bears like 4 years ago, and we thought he was done then. Like, this guy's done. Then he came to Dallas, right? And he bounced around, new team every year. That's got to be a good life, man. That's how you get to be a Hall of Famer at the bank. I mean, what did he get? You know what he got? Here's what he got. He probably got Andy Dalton 1, possibly 2 good quarterback contracts. And those were good quarterback contracts back in like 2010, 2000. What are the good quarterback contracts? He never got the 3rd big one. We're seeing some quarterbacks are getting these life-changing $200 million contracts. He never really got that. But what he has done is he has gotten like what, $10 million a year minimum for the last 10 years. This dude has probably made $100 million simply holding a clipboard. That is a Hall of Famer at the bank. Chase Daniels, South Lake Carroll's own Chase Daniels. That is the epitome of a Hall of Famer in the bank. 12 years, never a starter, always made NFL backup quarterback money. Chase Daniels, Hall of Famer at the bank. Anyway, Bryce Young got benched for the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton. Bryce Young, we're talking about the Carolina Panthers, a team that is just a complete garbage fire. It's because of their owner. Their owner is an embarrassment. Their owner is now that Daniel Snyder's out of the way, we can turn our attention to that organization. That organization is embarrassing. So a couple of years ago, because the owner watched a lot of ESPN and listens to a lot of dipshit sports radio, about two 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe. The owner of that team decided that he was going to do whatever it takes to acquire that quarterback that everybody was talking about on those shows, and that was Alabama quarterback Lil Bryce Young. That's right, Tepper out there, he decided that he was going to go all in because he was convinced, because he heard it on the Billy and Bongo show. But I'll tell you, I'm the owner of one of the NFL's franchises, and I'm going to make an all-in decision based on what Billy and Bongo had to say about that Alabama quarterback, and they did. He went all in. He gave the marching orders to the team. By team, I mean management. I mean general managers and scouts and all that stuff. And he said, look, no matter what it takes, I want you to get me the number 1 pick in this draft, and I want you to bring me the head of Bryce Young, who will change this organization forever. So they did. And in order to make their crazy owners' dreams come true, they made one of the worst trades in the history of the NFL, and we're not even done with it. They traded with the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears had the number 1 overall pick. If the Chicago Bears had wanted Bryce Young, they would have taken Bryce Young, but they were in year 2 of Justin Fields. Timing was what it was, and they were like, we don't really need a quarterback this year, but we are willing to trade it. So they traded that number 1 pick to Carolina, and we just got an entire mint for it. We got DJ Moore as a player. We got Caleb Williams this year as the number 1. We got Darnell Wright last year as like number 7 overall. We got Rome Odunze this year. We did crazy stuff simply for allowing them, the Carolina Panthers, to choose Bryce Young 2 years ago. 2 years ago? Yeah, with the number 1 overall pick. And he sucks. He sucks. Oh, my God. We've got 2 years. I was kind of okay with it. Like, as a Chicago Bear fan, I was like, yeah, I don't want that guy. I don't need that guy. And by the way, the other thing is that we see how good C.J. Stroud is. C.J. Stroud went number 2. There was a bit of a debate back at the time of Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud when they were coming out, and it was a debate I was paying attention to because my team had the number 1 overall pick. So I remember the arguments about Bryce Young versus C.J. Stroud, and I remember how once we got to the draft, it was a foregone conclusion that C.J. Stroud was not in Bryce Young's league. Bryce Young is a goddamn champion. Meanwhile, what do we know? We know that C.J. Stroud played his rookie year the way no other rookie quarterback has ever. We know that after seeing him on Sunday night, C.J. Stroud is legit. And the no-brainer number 1 pick out of Alabama, Bryce Young, has been benched by the Carolina Panthers. They got nothing, you guys. They got nothing. That is a decimated franchise out there. If they are going to move on from Bryce Young, which maybe they won't. I can't imagine that this is the end of Bryce Young. The kid needs to sit down. The team maybe needs to stabilize itself. But all of the talking heads in sports, they're like, this is the end of Bryce Young. I can't imagine that's the case. Let him sit down. Let him relax. Let him settle. Still got another 2 years left on his rookie deal with they can option the 5th. So they don't have to make any decisions on Bryce Young. They can see what he's going to do. But it is embarrassing. It is terribly embarrassing. And I think that when you look at that franchise, the Carolina Panthers, the first thing that you need to point out is that they are run by a madman who has screwed them for even next year. Even next year. Chicago's got their 2nd round pick next year. So here's hoping that they suck and that they have a high draft pick. And we'll get maybe the number 1 pick in the 2nd round because we don't have their number 1 this year. All right, there you go. Bryce Young. Oh, and I've got no hatred for Bryce Young. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel bad for that kid, man. I don't feel as bad as I would if he had gone to a real football market. Like if he was down there shitting the bed in Pittsburgh, I'd feel bad for him. New York, oh, God love him. Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas, feel bad for him. They went all in and he had to play in one of those markets. He's in Carolina. He's pretty nicely incubated down there. I think he'll be fine. I got no ill will. He seems like a good kid. All right, Bryce Young has been benched. Whew. Although it does make me chuckle. It does make me chuckle that we housed them, the Carolina Panthers, to the degree that we did. And we're about a year away before saying that we're a playoff team. I mean, we're still rebuilding in Chicago, but thank you. Thank you for having an owner who is an absolute idiot who basically set us up for future success by being just so dumb and listening to Eddie and Bonzo. Your sports junkies. Charlotte's #1 sports animal. Yeah, he went all in. You listening to dudes doing local sports, saying Bryce Young is the guy they got to go all in on. It's good to be rich. It's good to be rich. What else do we have here? Oh, let's check this out. You see this? This is debuting tonight on FX. I will not be watching it for 10 weeks, 2 months. I don't know. Over Thanksgiving is probably when I'll start watching this. Why? Because it's episodic, and I don't watch episodic TV. You know this about me. What the hell's wrong with you? You know that I don't watch episodic TV. I'm not going to be held hostage. Here's one episode. It's an hour. Did you enjoy it? I'm like, yeah. Can I get another one? In a week. Wait, what? Why can't I just binge all the episodes? You got to wait a week. I don't want to wait a week. Fuck you. See, it's such a old time way. We don't have to be held hostage. They shoot these things ahead of time in most cases. You can post them all. Oh, it bothers me. I can't watch Slow Horses. We were like 4 episodes into Slow Horses. I can't watch that for another couple of weeks until there's at least 6 episodes. Because I'm not going to sit there and want more and not have it more. Now, this isn't to say that I'm going to sit and binge watch all 10 episodes in one sitting. I won't do that. But I need the peace of mind to know that if I wanted to do that I could. That I wouldn't be left hanging. I am so broken. I have such a weird sort of way of processing the world. What are we talking about? All right, so FX got a new series. FX got a new series, and it debuts tonight, and I think it's 10 episodes, and I'll be watching it around Thanksgiving when I can binge all the episodes. It is from Ryan Murphy. You know Ryan Murphy. Ryan Murphy. Ryan Murphy is a genius. He's so good. Super gay, but and when I say super gay, what I mean is that all of his content is very gay. It's gay. It's not masculine. He is the king of what I call gay horror, which I love. Gay horror is a thing. Gay horror is a thing. American Horror Story is a great example of gay horror. I've got a whole theory on that. I'll be putting out a YouTube video about gay horror, so we'll get into it. But it is a genre. The gays love horror. The gays love slashing, and the gays love. Anyway, so Ryan Murphy is the king of gay horror, and he is taking on the story of Aaron Hernandez. That's right, NFL crazed New England Patriots tight end who killed his. Well, let me see if I get this right. He killed his baby mama's sister's fiance. I think I got that right. Aaron Hernandez, and then killed himself in jail. Ryan Murphy, who's not a sports guy. He doesn't know. Although, didn't he do the People versus O.J. Simpson? So maybe he is. Maybe he is. And that was so good. God, Ryan Murphy's good. People versus O.J. Simpson was so good. So, okay, so now we've got a new one, and it's debuting tonight, the first episode tonight. It's going to be on FX. It is the story. Hold on, we can get rid of this. I don't need that. We don't need the Emperor of America anymore. Get rid of her. We don't need her anymore. No, we don't. Emily Willis. Let's watch the trailer. This is from the new FX series, American Sports Story, Aaron Hernandez. Oh, do you get it? You get it? It's like American Horror Story. I guess. Hold on. Where is the video? We'll watch it on YouTube. Hold on a second. All right, here we go. Yeah, let's watch this. All right, here we go. This debuts tonight on FX. This is Ryan Murphy, the guy behind. Here's what's fucked up about Ryan Murphy. Can I just get this off my chest? Here's what's screwed up about Ryan Murphy. Ryan Murphy made Glee, which is like the most wholesome all-American show. It's so good, and it's about Glee Club and mom and grandma and auntie can watch it. He made that, and he makes American Horror Story. He's got both of those things going on in that head. I don't think we can trust him. Anyway, here you go. This is Ryan Murphy, debuting tonight on FX. Episode 1, American Horror Story, Aaron Hernandez.
What if God made me this way?
Tell me something, Aaron. You love to play football?
That's all I've ever done.
The players, they're gods, they're like gladiators. Wherever you go now, people are watching you. You can't make mistakes, Aaron.
Pops kept you on the field, off the streets.
What does that mean?
You're soft.
Still look soft to you?
You have so many secrets. Must be a lot of pressure.
The drugs, the sex, the anger.
Nobody's questioning your athletic ability, Aaron. They're questioning your character.
Just gotta get back out on that field. Everything's okay when I'm playing ball.
2 cups, toast up with the game. From food stamps to a whole nother domain. Got it. Man stumps. Man stumps. Man stumps.
You don't know the kind of thoughts I have.
All right. I'm interested. That's a crazy story. The Aaron Hernandez story, I've seen all the documentaries and all that stuff. I'm interested in it. We're going to get into his gay double life. That's a part of it that's been well documented since his death. He came out to his entire family, apparently, when he was in prison. Told them all that he'd been leading this double life. So that's probably going to be a pretty solid thread through this Ryan Murphy story of what exactly happened to him. I can tell you this, whether or not he was sleeping with dudes or not doesn't make a hill of beans difference in my opinion, because that dude was just a fucking dickhead, violent, incorrigible thug. That is my takeaway from Aaron Hernandez based on everything that I know about him. Great football player, yeah. Don't really give a shit about his sexual orientation. He was a violent, damaged, jackass thug. That's what Aaron Hernandez was. So I wonder if this is going to be a little bit different of a depiction than that, because that is my impression of him. Is this going to make him more of a victim of his sexuality, which is a direction that I could absolutely see Ryan Murphy going? I could see Ryan Murphy going, but he was so distraught because the world refuses to accept him as a gay. If he had just been a gay tight end back then, oh my God, he'd be an icon. I still don't understand why they're like, who's going to be the first gay player? The first gay player is retiring, right? The dude from, the dude that was with the Raiders for like 5 years. What was his name? He was an edge rusher. Came out as gay like his second year in the league, and everybody was like, yeah, all right. And then, now we're like 6 years later and he's just a gay dude out. I mean, but when is like the first gay superstar athlete going to emerge? It's going to happen. There's already been one. They just didn't admit it. There's no way that in all the years of professional sports, there wasn't one closeted gay superstar. I don't know. Dr. J. Dr. J was a twink guy. He loved hairless 20-something white boys. I don't know. April points out Patrick Schwarzenegger is playing the role of Tim Tebow in the Aaron Hernandez FX series. Yeah, that's true. Patrick Schwarzenegger, that dude. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that dude. I think. Do you guys know the story of Patrick Schwarzenegger? He's coming. Well, he's here. He's here. He's been here for a couple of years, but he's not accepting Oscars yet or anything like that. But he's here, and it was inevitable. He was coming. If he wanted it, it was going to be presented to him. Patrick Schwarzenegger is obviously the son of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He is the son of Arnold Schwarzenegger with all of the influence and connections and advantages that come with being the son of one of the biggest film industry icons of all time and popular governor of the state of California. So he's got all of that, and he's front loading with the name Schwarzenegger. He didn't shorten it to like Ager or Schwartz, whatever. He didn't do that. No, he's Patrick Schwarzenegger. So he's got all of that, and that's pretty good. Oh, yeah, he's also a Kennedy. Yeah, he's also like JFK's grandson or something. I don't know, grandnephew, something. He's got his mom is JFK's niece. Okay, there you go. How's that? Patrick Schwarzenegger's on his mom's side. He's a Kennedy. With all of the privileges of Hyannisport, he grew up there. Wasn't he the one he was dating Taylor Swift like 10 years ago, and he took her to like Hyannisport to meet the Kennedy family. So he's got that, and then he's also got the Schwarzenegger thing. He's playing Tebow in this show. He also was in not The Boys, but The Boys spinoff, and I was forced to look at him in that. I don't want to like him, but I think I do. I do like him. I don't want to like him. He doesn't look like Arnold. He's not like, I'm Arnold's son. He's not. That's not him. I'll put it to you this way. He's playing Tim Tebow, and yeah, that's probably pretty good casting. He's a really good-looking, white, athletically fit dude in his 20s. That's who Patrick Schwarzenegger is. But he's not like his dad. He's not a bodybuilder. That's the other one. The other kid needed daddy's attention, right? The kid that you remember Arnold Schwarzenegger had sex with the cleaning lady? He knocked up the cleaning lady because that's just how masculine Arnold is. I don't fuck anything. He's just like totally Joseph Benera or whatever his name is. I don't know. It's Joseph something. Anyway, he had a boy. He had a little boy with her, the cleaning lady, and that boy grew up. And that boy and Arnold, they're like buddies. And I'm not saying that Arnold and Patrick, his son with Maria Shriver, I'm not saying that they're not close. But the boy that he had with the housewife or the housekeeper, that kid, he like grew up pumping. He's like all like jacked and huge. And he and Arnold, like father, son, they lift together. And they do like crazy extreme workout shit together. That's how the son of the cleaning lady and Arnold bonded with Arnold. And he looks like him. He looks like Mexican Arnold Schwarzenegger, if I can be honest. If Arnold Schwarzenegger had like, Latino features and hair, but also, he looks like Arnold. Anyway, the point is this. Arnold's got a couple of sons. One of them, Patrick Schwarzenegger, is, I'm sure, going to be king of the world at some point. There's just no stopping him. And he's going to be, the first thing is he's going to be a movie star. He's going to be a movie star for a while. Then he'll run for senator. Then he'll just be the latest Kennedy running for president. All right. Very excited about that. Adam says, man, I can't wait to not watch that. I wonder why Adam would have that perspective. I wonder why. Because I have just the opposite. I'm like, I'm very interested in that. I'm going to wait 10 weeks. But I wonder what it is. I wonder what it is that Adam finds abhorrent. Something that he's going to be snarky about his will to not watch. I don't know. I'm bored. I got a lot of stuff to do today, folks. We are out of show. One more time, I want to thank our girl, one of the Furious 15. Leslie C. was our executive producer today, our executive producer on today's show. If you want to be tomorrow's executive producer, all you got to do is tip the biggest, tip the show. That's how we stay in business. You can do that by visiting the Cash App or the Venmo, either or. There ain't nothing on tonight, right? There ain't nothing going on tonight. Trying to think. It's Tuesday night. Last Tuesday night was the debate. Monday night, there's football. Sunday night, there's football. Monday night, there's football. Last Tuesday, there was a debate. Wednesday, I don't know what Wednesday was of last week, but Thursday, I got football. Friday, I get my kid. I don't know what's going on tonight. It's Tuesday. No, you're awesome, Al. Adam explains a little more. He says, I dislike melodramatic television as well as I hate historical reimagining. All right, I'm with you. I dislike melodramatic television. I do not like it. However, I love historical reimagining. Love it. It's fun. Because you can be like, that's bullshit. I remember when that happened. Especially when you get older. You have a perspective. It's still fun. Allow yourself some joy. Adam says, I prefer a documentary if you want to go that route. OJ was fun and spectacle, but I'm good. All right. I get you, man. I get you, brother. You can be done. If I'm being honest, Ryan Murphy, we're a long way from Nip Tuck, man. Well, that dude burst on the scene with Nip Tuck, and I'm like, that shit's great. And then he went from Nip Tuck to Glee, which was really crazy because it's like, wow, he made a hard turn in order to, capitalize on a commercially viable show, which Glee was. And man, oh man, that made Ryan Murphy a power, so good for him. And then he went back to FX, and he's like, remember when I was doing cutting-edge creepy stuff like I did with Nip Tuck? Yeah, I want to do that again. And he made American Horror Story, and that's where it kind of started going off the rails. Like, there are some seasons of American Horror Story from Ryan Murphy that I just find unnecessarily distasteful and dark. And like, why did he feel the need to create that and put that out in the universe? Now we know how to dispose of a baby's brain. It's crazy stuff. He really, I do not believe in censoring. I do not believe that, things shouldn't be on TV because they're too dark or they're too scary. But I don't have to watch it. And if I do happen to catch myself watching stuff like that, I'm going to tell you why I didn't like it. I'm not pretending like I'm old Emperor Norton the First, where I didn't like it and therefore it shouldn't be allowed. That's not what I'm saying. It's not for me. He was just a little, and then there's like a lot of like homoerotic bloody scenes and orgies and stuff. And I'm sorry, I'm fine with that if that's your thing. Not me. I don't like that. That is not something I want to look at. If I'm being honest, and I think I say this all the time, if it's just a blood-covered normal heterosexual orgy, I am also not interested in that. That's gross. Sex with blood involved? No, thank you. You weirdos. It's not what we do here. It's not what we do here. Thank you, Nina. I love Nina. I love Peter. I love Adam. I love all of you. All right, we got to go. I got other things I got to do today. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you again to our executive producer, the great Leslie C. in the house, Furious 15. If you want to help out the show, you can drop something at your own will. If not, please share, please like, please follow, please do all of those things. Help us grow this show. Do anything else? I don't think that's it. I think we are done. All right, folks, you be well. Have a good one. We'll be back here tomorrow at noon for more, and every day, The Rant with me, Pugs Moran, on Radio Misfits, Dallas, radiomisfits.com.